How seriously are you taking this virus? It's so contagious. It's all around us. It's deadly, it's dangerous, it's toxic, and it's killed millions of people. Yet I just can't feel a sense of urgency with this. I first discovered and really felt the virus deeply 6 years ago, when my dad, caring, calm, loving, fun, adventurous person, started to experience irrational thoughts. And the virus told him to tone it down, to pull himself together. He had a great life, a lovely family, but it wasn't as easy as that. And he ended up at the doctor's, and the doctor said, I think you've got anxiety and depression. We'll try some medication. It may not work, and we're going to send you home. You'll have to wait about 6 weeks to see if it works. And good luck. So he was sent home with no support. And on the side of the packet, it said, may cause suicidal thoughts. He was sent home with no support. It didn't go down very well, and I realised what it was like to experience grief on this earth for a person you love when they're here, but they're not really here. He didn't look like himself. He started to lose loads of weight. He didn't sound like himself. It was like someone else in my dad's body. And I wept. I missed him so much. I felt so helpless, so desperate. The virus told me to take it personally. The virus told me to feel a sense of shame because maybe I could have done more to help. Dad ended up in a psychiatric ward, and the virus told me to be really afraid and intimidated by the mental hospital, because mental hospitals are full of psychotic, dangerous people, right? That's what the virus tells us, because we see it in the movies and the media. Psychopaths are cold-blooded killers, right? I felt so afraid going in to visit my dad. I felt on edge constantly. The virus was all around. I didn't like him being there. But then I thought, he's calm, he's grounded, he's loving, he's an amazing guy. So if he's in there, surely there may be other people in there like that. But yeah, it was a really, really hard time. Now, Dad did get out of hospital. He started to get better. They finally, after lots of attempts, found some medication that worked. But the whole experience woke something deep, deep within me. And I said to Dad, once he came out the other side and I got him back, I said, Dad, come on, tell me your words of wisdom. What would be your piece of advice? He said, don't be so hard on yourself. Such amazing words, but so hard to practice. So I got to work. I had a mission. I was going to make it very, very clear that this virus had no place for me, and that I was going to encourage other people to say no, because what the virus does is it tells you to wear a mask, to isolate yourself, to wash your hands of it, and that makes it worse. That's very, very dangerous. We can't isolate ourselves when it comes to this virus. Dad has always called me WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And I've over time realized that that's my thing. You know, we all have a superpower. That's my thing. And I realized that when I said no to the virus and made it very, very, very clear, I made a lot of noise. You know, I did blogs, spoke on the radio, wrote a book, did loads of podcasts. I interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people. Something magic happened. People would approach me in the supermarket, on the street, at events, and it was like all surface level chat had gone. We were diving deep, and it was so amazing for people to be able to show up fully, pull a little bit of WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And there was something else that became very apparent to me through my research. You know, I've interviewed psychiatrists, psychologists, life coaches, spiritual teachers, hypnotherapists, people that have been through intense trauma, people that have really struggled with their mental health and have gone to the darkest place. And two things came up time and time again. Too many people are carrying around a sense of guilt and shame for things that happened to them that weren't even their fault. be it in childhood or later on in life. They're carrying a sense of shame. And I've had to say to so many people, it's not your fault. The other key thing is that shame is really, really bad for our brain. Shame prolongs recovery. So wearing a mask is really, really bad for our recovery. So on that note, let me share my story with you today. Let me take my mask off and keep it real with you. At the start of this year, I was literally buzzing. I mean, hello, new decade, woo! I was so excited. Now, 2019, I did a lot of meditation, and I find like you can read as much textbooks, as many textbooks as you like on mindfulness, but it's actually the meditation where you really learn about it and you can help yourself and help others. And that had been an amazing year of self-discovery. And I felt like in terms of self-awareness, things were going really well. I really knew who I was, and I was able to be present in my body and be more real with people. And it was a magical feeling. But yes, start of the year, I was really, really just feeling up for it. And it felt like buses, like lots of things were coming at once. And I was really excited. I was like, January, yes, 2020. If this is how it's starting, it's going to be amazing. But I realized I was a little bit buzzy. I wasn't sleeping as much either. And I'm always an 8-hour a night. I protect my sleep. But I was getting up in the night with all these ideas. And I said to some people that worked in similar industry, I said, look, I'm totally buzzing. They said, Jo, it's just all happening. Just enjoy it. Of course you're buzzing. Now, from my research, I know that when we get a lot of dopamine, when we're achieving, we do feel that really buzzy. You know, it's a natural high. So I thought, okay, I'll just sit with this a minute. I was also doing dry January, and I thought, if this is how it feels, I ain't ever drinking again. But here's the thing, right? On stage, I was funnier. I was sassier in meetings. I had a swag about me that I really quite liked. And I just had so much energy. Now, I'm known for getting people singing and dancing. I do it in the podcast, and we release the mojo, Jojo mojo. It sounds gimmicky, but that's my thing, right? But every song I heard, it sounded different. It felt different. I was like, something's going on here. And I wanted more of it. But my closest circle were worried about me, because behind the scenes, you know, on the surface it all looked great, but deeper behind the scenes, I was unraveling like a ball of wool. I wasn't sleeping as much, so that was obviously catching up on me. I was becoming a little bit delusional, a little bit paranoid. What's going on here? Things just didn't feel quite right. Now, if anyone challenged me in this frame of mind, oh my goodness, I would go to the darkest place. They would be, oh, I couldn't go near them. And my husband challenged me, and he took me to the doctor, and he said, something's not right. And I said, how dare you? How dare you? And I turned it on him, and the doctor didn't know who to believe. You know, I've got a background in drama. I'm quite convincing, and I really, really meant it. How dare he? And the doctor really wasn't sure what to do. And we had more therapy, and some people got it wrong and told me things and made me even more paranoid. And then one day a mental health nurse came round, and she looked at me. She looked at my husband, and she said to him, no, you're right. Something's not right. This is textbook manic episode. I said, what? I'm a mental health researcher. I've been researching for 6 years. But it'd always been anxiety, depression, burnout, stress. Not so much going high, mania. What are you talking about? No. She signed me off and said, you need to stop working now. I said, okay. She left, and a TV crew came round from London. I said to my husband, don't tell her, please. Please don't tell her. And I kept going about my business because I was exciting and I was enjoying life and I felt amazing. But I wouldn't stop. And on the 15th of February, the doorbell rang. And it was 3 mental health professionals coming to section me against the Mental Health Act, to take me to the psychiatric ward, the place I fear, the place the virus told me is so dangerous. And I said, no, please don't take me there. I've got so much trauma, so many bad memories with Dad. I will do whatever. I get it. I'll take all the sleeping tablets. I'll sleep. All this buzzy creative stuff, I'll say no to. Just please don't take me to the psychiatric ward. They said, I'm afraid you'll have to come. So I went upstairs and ran a bath. Water is my safe place, and my husband came up and he said, if you don't go, they're going to call the police. I said, right, I'll get my coat. Not one for drama. But I was traumatized. And that journey there just felt so lonely. I honestly thought the person that was so self-aware with all this meditation and great well-being work and all this research, happy, 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 I honestly felt that my family that really, really love me and care for me more than anyone else were trying to frame me. That's what my mind told me. And I was terrified. And I cried that night, and I cried. And I was so scared. The virus was all around me. Be afraid. This place is full of psychotic people. You may get, someone may stab you. I was so afraid. But something inside me heard that little voice. I've been saying to everyone else, this is not your fault. You will get through this. You do deserve to be happy. So every day I begged to get out, and they said, no, 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 you need to sleep. Now, at the start of the year, I put on my vision board, start breaking the rules. And I meant in a fun, free-spirited kind of way. You know, chase more sunsets, say no to the busy word more. And it was like I was suddenly faced with so many rules. They took my laptop, my phone, all my plans were cancelled. I couldn't put my beautiful little kids to bed at night. I got to see them, but I didn't get that freedom to be at home and to have my privacy. Everything was stripped, and I felt like a naughty schoolgirl, and I had so many rules. Stop singing so much, you're overstimulated. You can't go out in nature. No, you're not going there to meet friends. No, you're not texting. You're not getting anything. This is all before COVID, right? It was a stressful time in hospital, but I knew that I had to get something positive out of it. So I went to work. And I spoke to every single patient. I got to know everyone in my ward. And something magic happened. That surface level chat was gone, and we got deep. And it was like they were desperate just for someone to let them be real. And patients were knocking on my door. They were reading copies of my book, passing it around. Nurses were buying the book. People were talking. People were sharing. It was amazing. And I realized that everyone I'd spoken to, they were carrying a sense of shame for something that may have happened in childhood or later on in life that wasn't their fault. And I said it again, this is not your fault. And a lot of the people in there, perhaps on antipsychotic medication, like myself, yeah, I was given that. That's what the virus may be saying to you. But all these people had given away all their energy to help everyone else. And it sounded so familiar. That experience changed me, and I was discharged the day we went into lockdown, 23rd of March, 2020, going from one set of rules to another. Wow. And then the hard work started because my insight came back. And I remembered, I had flashbacks of saying things to anyone that challenged me, my family. And I remember thinking, it was like someone else was in my body speaking, because the words that were coming out of that human were not me. They were not from me. But they were, but it wasn't me. And my family were horrified. Like, where has she gone? Will we ever get her back? All those feelings of despair I had watching my dad go through it. You know, it was a psychotic manic episode. Did I want to kill anyone? No. Did it make me a cold-blooded, scary killer? No. But did my mind go to the darkest places? Yes. Did I feel extreme trauma? Yes. Did I say things, nasty things that I'd never say? Yes. And I felt so guilty, and I heard all the shame. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I was trying to tell myself this, but the virus is saying, you should be so ashamed. You should be so ashamed. But I had 6 years of research saying it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You need to be kind to yourself. So I got to work on compassion. Compassion-based therapy is something I've been really pushing, really pushing for years. So I got to work on being compassionate with myself. But the virus was speaking to other people. Some reminded me of things I'd done. Some said, you were terrible. Some said, you need to apologize. Some said, they don't want anything to do with you now. Some said, don't tell anyone about it. Keep it a secret. No one needs to know that. A person that's been campaigning against a virus, against hiding things, against putting the mask on for years to hide their own illness, the things we should talk about. And I said no to that. I said, I'm going to talk. And my psychiatrist and my mental health nurse, they were so surprised. You're talking openly about all you've been through. I said, yes, that's what I do. That's my thing, WYSIWYG. They said, wow. Well, they said, this will really help you because shame prolongs recovery. Ah, that sounded familiar. That came up in my research constantly. Shame prolongs recovery. So I got to work to remove the shame. And I worked so hard, and trust me, there were days in lockdown, dark days, where I felt so much shame and didn't think I could ever get on with my life again. Would I get the mojo back? The girl that helps other people get their mojo, would I get mine back? Would I be singing and dancing again? Could I walk down the street and look people in the eye? Could I learn to work hard? Could I learn to take away the shame? And as I worked hard every day to tell myself nice things and to pour compassion, my mental health nurse said, I'm so surprised at your recovery rate. I'm ready to discharge you. And I'm normally with people for a couple of years. This has been a few months. I think it's because you're talking openly. This is really helping you. I think it's because you're working really hard to pour compassion on the mix. At the start of this year, I wanted to feel more alive, and it all went a little bit wrong. But I can honestly say that being real with you, sharing, taking off my mask, makes me feel so alive today. So let me ask you, how seriously are you taking this virus? It's toxic, it's contagious, it's deadly, it's all around us. It's killed millions of people. This virus is, of course, stigma. And we need to take it seriously. We need to start normalizing these conversations even more, especially in 2020. How alive do you feel today? And quite controversial words for this year, but could it be time to take off your mask?